Hey everyone, welcome to episode 54 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. I'm Braydon.
And I'm Kyle.
Kyle is back.
I'm back.
Dude, month and a half is so long.
Hey, it felt like forever.
Yeah, it's got to be weird coming home because you haven't seen your kids for a month and a half.
Haven't seen my kids. My wife came out, so I saw her. Haven't driven a car. Have been walking on the left side of the road. Like, just all these things are different.
Did your kids remember who you are?
Yeah, it was kind of sad. My daughter was like, Dad, I'm so glad you came back to me. And like, then when I tried to leave the next morning to like go run an errand, she like had a meltdown thinking I was leaving for another month.
No,
And
like
I was
a dog.
I was like, oh, this hurts.
No, that's one of the best parts about like this little age is like they're just so excited to see you. It's like I don't know how long that lasts, but I know it's not forever.
Oh, I'm sure when
And,
they're
like,
teenagers, they don't care.
You just got to drink that in.
Yeah.
My little baby, she'll see me and just crawl as fast as she can too. And it's really cute. Well, cool, man. We'll so we only ended up recording one episode while you were in Japan
Because the second one broke.
Second one broke, and we're like, you know what? Just your wife's there, go enjoy it. And so we postponed, we missed a couple. So there's still a lot of Japan stories to get out from you. I think
There is a lot of there's a lot of stuff that happened in Japan.
So we'll talk more Japan here, and then there's a couple items in Kyle's corner for paddle, babble, and gear. I have a couple actually interesting topics. I want to talk about. Okay. Our paddles my thing now. Like, I've been playing really well with power paddles. And I'm like, is this who I am now?
I've heard your game's evolved. I've gotten reports. Like, why I've been gone. Duster's just constantly like,
Duster,
like, just wait. He's like, just wait till you see Braydon's game. I'm like, well, that's good.
Duster was a word overhype.
Overhype. Oh, okay.
But it has changed, and I haven't changed, and we can talk about that a little bit. And then I have an argument that I think 14 millimeter paddles are better than 16 millimeter paddles for more advanced players. And I'm going to kind of take you through my theory of why I think that is. And
for advanced players.
For advanced players.
Okay.
Because 16 millimeters are so predominant, like everywhere, all levels of play. And I think 14 should be a bigger factor in the paddle selection for more advanced players. So I want to talk about my argument there. We're going to talk about the ESQ and ALW's, got a lot of thoughts there. And then you just got paddle dumped. You got back.
Yeah, I got paddles, and then I got paddles coming. I got the ESQ and the ALW coming. We got a secret diadem coming tomorrow.
Yeah,
that we won't be able to talk about.
I am interested in that one though. That's their new like updated icon.
Yeah, so that'll be sweet.
Yeah, and then you got some Japanese branded paddles you brought back.
Everyday Social brought some of those back.
But anyways, we can talk through some of those that you're excited about. You probably didn't. I mean, you just had the paddles with you that you played with. So
yeah, so I brought.
You've been messing with paddles.
No, exactly. I brought a Shogun and a Reload, and then I got given paddles, and I gave out all the Valairs. And thanks, Ryan, again. Everybody loved them.
You had like 10 of them. You
10
of them all out. Was it easy?
Oh, everybody was like so excited.
That's awesome.
So now there's a bunch of Pickleball Effect Valairs running around.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's go. So let's kind of pick up where we left off in Japan. Like last time we talked, you were like saying, you know, you had played it for your first club and you got your first games. You were going to go play at the like private courts, Everyday Social, and you're starting to talk to more people, play different groups, travel around. Tell us about it.
So as we were talking about like the clubs, everything's set up. There's no open play. So you have to get into these groups or teams or clubs. They all have different names. And some of these teams are like really tight knit, almost cliquey groups and these guys all like train. So I finally worked my way into getting invited to the better teams. Like RST was one of them. Marugame was one of them. Like they all have names. Like I played with like the old people clubs, and they were all great. So much fun. But I got into like some of these guys were like world champions in other sports, racket sports.
Oh, geez.
Hands were crazy. Their pickle game though is still not like I was still beating them because I'm still better at pickleball.
Just like the strategy elements.
Yeah, exactly. So like these dudes' hands are insane. Their dinking's not that great yet. But most of these guys have only been playing since March.
Oh, it's that fresh.
Yes. So I guess some like high up figures in the Japanese government started playing pickleball, and that kind of fired up the sport a little bit too. So I got invited to these other games, better players. The best player I played against, I can't remember his name and I feel bad. He was actually playing with a Mach 2.
Was he really? Just already?
Yeah. He was good. Tall guy, tennis background. He could dink. I don't know where he was from. He might not have been from Japan, but his pickleball game was good.
Was he not Japanese?
No, he was Japanese, but some of those guys are from like, I played with some guys from Singapore and some guys like from around.
Sure.
But they all ended up there. Some guys from like San Francisco that ended up there. It was super crazy though. Just like the sport's growing, even though it's basically hidden. Like you can't just go to a park and play pickleball, which blows my mind.
Do you think that's just because there are no parks with pickleball courts?
Yeah. Well, then they have to rent everything. So even like when they do, I finally played outdoors. They rented a junior high school's tennis court.
Are there other public, like, are there public tennis courts out there? Are there public?
I didn't see any
other stuff.
I didn't see any. Every park I went into, I didn't see like recreation in the park.
It was just like
playground.
It was like a park.
Not even playground. Most of the parks I went to were like walking paths.
Oh, okay.
Shrines.
Okay, like a Japanese type park.
Yeah.
It says a Nampa, Idaho park.
No, exactly. Like they weren't like American parks with like playgrounds and stuff. They were like pretty parks.
Okay, like all right. And I remember you telling me in the podcast that crashed on us that when you got to these higher level groups, they would play for like 3 hours. They'd show up an hour before, train together, and then play games.
So you show up. I was so tired too, because I played a lot. Especially like 1 week, I think I played in like 3 days. I think I played like 18 hours or something like that. Like I was hurting, but so I show up and it's like an hour and a half of like intense drills, like footwork, dink drills, dink games, volley. Like
who's running it? Is there like a team captain?
Yeah, there's a team. Yeah, every organizer or captain, they have different names.
Organizer. That seems more like a not little league,
but they
name.
But yeah, so like an hour and a half of drills before you touch the game.
And they did this every time they play?
Yes. They call them practices. Like, it's not like, hey, let's go rec play. It's like, hey, practice.
That's so cool. I wonder what it would take to do something like that here, because I think that's brilliant. Like, just go.
Oh, it's insane. Their level is going to, like, exponentially jump so fast, I think, because of that mentality. Because I've never seen that here.
Americans aren't like that.
No.
I'll set up drill sessions, but actually, I like the idea of drilling before you go play. Like that concept is probably easy enough. Like even if, okay, say I'm playing tomorrow, if I picked out one of the guys I'm playing with, I'm like, hey, well, are you willing to show up even like 45 minutes early? Let's drill for 45 minutes and then we'll play. I think people should start doing that. Like, I think that's a really clever way to incorporate more drilling. And because sometimes it's hard to get drill partners depending on like what level you're at. I kind of have my, like, 5 to 8 people I kind of rotate through and we'll drill with. But if you don't have that, I think a good way to get started is doing something like that where you play before. And I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, some of the higher level groups here too, there's guys that will never drill. Like they just
play. They don't want to drill. It's kind of the nature of pickleball.
Yeah.
At least in this area. So favorite location or place, like was there, I guess a lot of it was indoor. I don't know. You played at Everyday Social, which is a brand there. They have like private courts that were like dedicated outdoor, right?
So his story is interesting too. So Ivan, it's his brand. It's only a year old. So
are they the only Japanese brand?
There's 2. So there's Minnow, which is Kenton is the owner. I couldn't get a paddle from him. But he moved there to start a brand. And then Ivan owns Everyday Social, and he started the brand because he lives in like a town that's just full of tennis players, like old tennis players, like huge. I can't even remember how many people he said there were that play tennis, but basically a majority of their population play tennis.
So like, are those guys playing at clubs? Like, where are those tennis courts? Because you can't just.
No, there is tons of tennis courts there.
Oh, okay. So potentially down the road, these tennis clubs could start doing what the U.S. did and start converting half of them into pickleball courts.
Absolutely.
If it gets big enough. So there's potential. There's potential to steal some courts there.
Yeah, it's just not there yet.
Okay.
But he saw all these old tennis players that were no longer active, and he wanted to get them active. So he started the brand just to get them cheaper paddles and get these older people playing, active again. So like when he took me to his club, he's got a club of like 150 people. There's like 80-year-old women out there just getting after it. Like I love seeing that.
That's great.
So, but he built the very first outdoor court in Japan at his house.
That's awesome.
And that's where he started his club, was in his backyard.
What a cool claim. Like go put a plaque on your court, like first
He said it was super expensive because they'd never built a pickleball court, and they had to charge him more because they didn't know
Why would they? I mean, you're just hiring the tennis
so
court
that's
people.
That's what he thought.
Why would it be?
Well, that's what he's like. Why is it more than a tennis court? It's smaller. So, but no, he's got a beautiful court at his house, nice house, and but yeah, so it grew from backyard games into a club of 150 people at like a giant gymnasium that I guess the Olympics, like people for the Olympics have trained there, and they're like big on curling and all kinds of stuff. But
cool.
It was awesome.
Well, it's awesome. I mean, it sounds like they're just getting going.
Yeah.
And obviously they're going to figure it out.
They are.
It won't take long.
They have a very big tournament happening in December. It'll be their first like big one.
Oh man, I feel like Chris talked to me about that one. He's like, hey, do you guys want to go play a tournament in Japan? I'm talking to someone there who would potentially help us like get there and play. We said no because it was too tight, but I don't know if he's going. But I feel like I bet that's the same tournament.
It's the biggest tournament they've ever had, so it'll be sweet.
Nice. The international, it's happening. Next year is going to be a big year, I think, for international growth. That'll be fun. Okay, and then outside of pickleball, tourism side, like Japan's one of the coolest places. It's on my bucket list. I'm gonna get there.
It was amazing.
Give us a couple highlights.
We went hiking. So we went to a few of the like TikTok spots where like people take pictures and stuff. It was like Disneyland. There were so many people. It was giving me like anxiety. Like I hate thousands of people in like one spot.
And that's pretty common in their big touristy areas.
Like some of the ones you see on like if you go open TikTok and go to Japan and it's like the bamboo forest and this and that. Tons of people.
It's too much.
So we escaped.
But you did all those too?
We did those, but then we escaped and we went and like hiked a mountain and hiked a bunch of waterfalls, and there was like almost nobody doing that stuff. And
then there was something about you getting bit by a deer or whatever.
So have you ever heard of Nara?
No.
So it's a place in Japan that has just tons of deer.
Okay.
Like all over the town, deer everywhere. And you can feed these deer these like little rice crackers you buy. And the second I bought the crackers, like the second the lady handed them to me, I was just all over me. And I was like walking away trained. And Gabby got a picture of the buck coming from behind me to bite me because he wanted me to give me, and he bit me.
Oh,
and
he
bit me and bruised me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I've never been bit by it. I was so mad. And Gabby was laughing so hard because we see deer so much here. Like I wasn't that excited to go see deer.
Right.
Like that. I mean, I'm sure people that have never seen deer, that's super exciting, but I can go to McCall and see deer all day long. So it's just like, it wasn't high on my list of things to do. And she's like, of course you get bit.
That's pretty funny. It sounds like they're pretty comfortable around humans and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Any other highlights you want to throw in there?
I went to I don't know, did I tell you about the party I went to?
No.
Oh, so it was super awesome. They had like two holidays happen while I was there. And after we had like a pickleball session, and then afterwards we went to like the penthouse and like overlooked the Tokyo Tower. It was super cool. And
I don't know what the Tokyo Tower is.
You've never seen the Tokyo Tower?
I don't. No.
Oh man.
Is it just a sweet, huge building with lights and stuff?
It's awesome.
Glass and doors and.
Well, it's like, have you seen the Space Needle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like that.
Okay.
But that was super cool. I'll get you later. But
okay.
No, it was just cool to go like have a party with like local people, and like I really reflected on pickleball, and I was like, what other sport would like if I didn't play pickleball, I would have been in Japan for a month and made like no friends and just been alone. It's really depressing. Like I probably would have been like alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron and I talked about that, how like he went on a trip to Chicago and just, got in on some games, and like how everywhere I've gone, you can just find pickleball, and that community aspect is so cool, and it translates to other countries.
Yeah. Just instant friends.
So this is a question I saw on Reddit, and I think people have asked you before. Like I was scrolling through Reddit, and there was like a thread about playing in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Someone commented like, "Oh, hey, have you seen the Pickleball Effect podcast? Kyle was just playing there." They were asking how to get games in Japan, and I imagine other people have asked you if they go visit Japan, how do they get games?
Oh, I've set up several people already.
Okay, what's the secret? How do you get games in Japan?
Oh, I have a website. So if you guys are going to Japan, message me and I'll give you the website that Chris, his name's Chris, he runs, and he basically takes, because everybody posts.
Wait, who's Chris?
So Chris he's like from San Francisco, but he lives in Japan, and he started up like his own duper type system. Now he's running duper though.
Oh, I remember you talking about
He's
him.
like a software engineer.
Okay.
So he started his own rating system, but now he just moved to Duper while I was there. So I played in their first ever Duper games.
Oh. Did you drop any games?
I did, because they did random partners. It was
what did your
bad.
Did your Duper go up or down?
Not way bad. It went down, but not like crazy.
Okay. You're willing to share your Duper?
Yeah, it's like 4-2 or something.
They don't have any.
No, they didn't
Duper
have
people,
a Duper.
so
Yeah.
they need you to give them
Exactly.
some Duper points.
No. Honestly,
you were critical to the success.
They
of
probably
Duper
have some
there.
inflated Dupers for me playing.
Wow, this guy's like a 5-0.
So, yeah, totally. But so everybody has like their schedules posted online for each team. And he basically took them all and put them on his website. So it's like one easy spot to go find where people are playing.
Okay,
and
cool.
all the organizers I interacted with were super nice. Most of them spoke enough English to get in and play. Yeah. And everywhere I played, somebody spoke some English. And even the ones that didn't, like, I was getting made fun of, like, because they would like tell us the drills in Japanese, and one of the guys that speaks English would look over at me and he wouldn't translate. He's like, "You got that right?" But they'd be like, "Volley," and like I'd understand. So,
volley.
It was good.
Well, what a good deal, man! If the PPA ever does a tournament in Japan,
we have to go.
We gotta go.
Have to go.
I mean, it doesn't have to be PPA. We should just do one someday.
Yeah. No, I want to go back.
That'd be sweet. All right. Other just kind of weekly updates. So, giving everyone an update on the Pickleball Effect shop. My brother has been managing the shop. It's now like fully up and running. It's cranking. It looks really good. Got a lot of different like bundle options on there. My brother's killing it. And several new products kind of in the works right now. So I have an order for 1.5 gram per inch tungsten.
Big boy.
Yeah, some big boy stuff. Kyle forced me to do it.
Yeah, I like that. I can use smaller strips.
Yeah, so we'll have that as a third option. I think that'll be like a really complete offering for the rolls.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the 0.5 gram, the 1 gram, the 1.5, and then that's ordered. That's on its way. Imagine like a month and a half. That'll probably be up. And then we finally got the 3 gram like tungsten strips that look like the lead strips.
Yep.
We placed an order for those. They sent us like, or people had requested it. And so I messaged my supplier. I was like, "Hey, can we do this?" And they said, "Yeah, we can do that." And when I was first creating the tungsten tape, I asked them for that like style. They're like, "No, we can't." But now down the road, they're like, "Oh, okay, this kid's selling stuff. Sure, of course we can do it."
Now they're taking you seriously.
Now they're taking me seriously. And so that's in the works. They sent us some samples. We messed with like getting the thickness right because it is a little more dense, a little shorter. So got the kind of the right formulation and the right size that we wanted for that. But that'll be coming. Got the order placed. The bag's getting designed. That's probably about 2.5 months away.
Nice.
But really excited about that. I think that'll do well. A lot of people have been requesting those 3 gram tungsten strips, which is kind of funny to me. Like I personally way prefer the rolls because what if I want 4 grams? Yeah. What if I want
No, I like it too because then I can change it.
You can get more precise.
I can change it on the fly too. Like I've had it happen where I'm like, it's a little too much, and I'll just tear some off. And
yeah, it's that. Yeah, I like that customizable feature, I guess, of the longer roll. But the 3 gram strips,
they look good.
They look good.
They do look good.
Super simple and easy, and people really want them.
Yeah,
so we're making them.
It's a good option.
Even it's okay if I won't use it. You know, there are others that do things differently than me.
Absolutely.
But yeah, pumped about that. I think that will be popular. And then 2 other products I'm working on. So one is like a different take on paddle erasers. So we found have you seen the Franklin paddle eraser? It has like the hole and like the little carabiner attached.
I don't think so.
So Franklin has one that has like this hole. It's got this hole in the paddle eraser, and then like a 3-inch long carabiner strap.
So you just like attach it to your outside of your bag.
But it's annoying that you have to like bend down, go to your bag, and then erase it. And I was like, it would be really nice if that was just retractable.
Like, okay.
So you go, you carabiner it to your bag. You can then pull it out, zing it back in. So I thought that'd be kind of a cool, different take on the erasers that would just be a little more usable. And like the erasers, at least for me, I use them all the time. Every time I play, I just erase before I play. And it's one of my like more used items in my bag. So this way is even more accessible than having to dig into your bag, do it, throw it in, and then it's super convenient with the like retractable feature. So we found the place that will make the erasers with the hole in it. And then we talked to like a carabiner place. We got them communicating. The carabiner place is making like a special webbing for us to go through the hole and attach the carabiner. So this is something nobody else has done, and I think that'll we'll see how it takes.
How big is it going to be? Like roughly?
Just a normal eraser size, and then like the carabiner small. The carabiner and like the retractable piece is like a couple inches.
So
maybe.
pretty small.
Yeah, it's like all kind of. Like I got the smallest thing possible that was still sturdy.
Nice.
I don't want it hanging like 6 inches off.
I'm a cheap ass, so I buy the not paddle eraser. I buy the
like the huge,
sand. I buy the
like
sand
the block,
the sander cleaner that's like this big, and then I just can cut it.
I bought one of those like before paddle erasers were a thing because like people were starting to recognize those, and it's huge, dude. It's like it's like a thing of butter.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, but longer.
It's like if Costco made Costco size butter.
Yes, it's a Costco size carbon eraser.
Yes.
You just cut that up?
Yeah.
It's easy enough to cut?
Oh, yeah. I cut right through it. So
you have like
I just had a little hacksaw.
Hacksaw all it takes?
Cut right through it.
Well, there you go.
I got a couple of those.
That if you're super another cheap, way to get like 10 erasers
but
for
it's
like
ugly.
$10.
I mean, it's ugly. Like Carbon's is cool. Like the logos and the black, and like Bread and Butter has a cool one, but like mine just looks like gum. Like it's just like a gum color. Yeah, it does the same job. So
there you go. Anyway, a lot of exciting stuff there. And I also have been like, I wanted to make a towel.
Did you make a magnetic one?
Well, right now I'm just looking for the right material. I actually found some material that's really cool and is like it's like thinner, easier to pack, and kind of makes it pickleball-y that way. And I feel like it picks up the sweat better than like a cotton towel does. It's kind of microfibery, but it's not exactly microfiber. But I'm like, I don't know if I want to invest a bunch of money into stock there because we got these other two products that I'm more excited about. So put more money into like the new tungsten products. Then we're going to get the eraser out. And then I think we'll do a towel down the line. But the towel's pretty unique. It's pretty cool. I don't know if there's a huge demand for it, but I was like, no one has made super cool towels. I think I can make a cool one.
You Drippin' has some cool ones, but there's not, you're right though. There's not a lot of cool towels out there. I'm still waiting on a good magnetic towel for my backpack.
No, Kitchen hasn't made one yet?
No, it's in the works too.
All right, let's move on to Kyle's Corner. You have a couple items here.
I do. We have a new sponsor for Kyle's Corner. Somebody was brave enough to sponsor Kyle's Corner.
Who was it?
Slice. I don't have one on me right now because I didn't bring my bag.
I don't have one in this room either.
You're
a horrible sponsor.
I am the worst. I have slices on like all the paddles that I actually use. I was going to say we should put PE on a slice. But anyway, we've talked about it a million times. Slice is a weighted butt cap, lowers the balance point, makes it feel kind of headlight, like a little less head heavy, adds static weight, more plow through. I love them. We've talked about it. It makes more sense on an elongated paddle. Like there are reasons you wouldn't use it and there's reasons to use it. They're not cheap, but they are nice.
They just messaged me today actually about a new product they have in the works that I'm pretty pumped about. I'm sure they've talked to you about it.
Ooh, I haven't checked my email today.
I'm sure they sent you a message, but it's gonna, I think, it's gonna make their products a lot better.
Oh, sweet!
I'm excited about this little innovation they have working on. We'll bring it up down the road when they like make bigger announcements. But it's a good move for them.
Nice.
Go Slice.
All right.
Use code DinkSmash, right?
DinkSmash.
Smash.
You guys love your. In fact, I just told somebody how much it's been used for over $6,000 worth of caps. So,
what?
So there is a demand for caps out there.
Yeah, people like the Slice caps.
So Kyle's Corner, what do I got? I don't have a lot because I didn't get to watch pickleball while I was in Japan because pickleball TV doesn't work, and
it's like on the internet. How's it not work?
Because Amazon, like the live option, is blocked in Japan, so I couldn't even go into it. And then I tried a VPN, but then it said that my VPN was blocked. So I couldn't. So I could only watch like highlights.
Engineering ways.
I could only watch like highlights on Instagram and stuff, which is terrible. But I did get. I got a little like some drama. There was some. I guess there's a new proton paddle that Donald Young was playing with, and 5 of his paddles failed.
That's like an unreleased one.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's the first time they failed.
He's been playing with the Roadrunner.
Was it the Road? So 5, man. Okay. Is
it called the Roadrunner?
Yeah, that's Project 4 or Series 4. Series 4 Project. Series 4 Project Roadrunner. Well, I got information that 5 paddles failed at the last PBA.
Oh, geez. Do you know what for? Deflection or grip?
I think it was grit.
It's grip.
which makes sense.
Those are very gritty.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they do
Proton
feel
likes to push the boundaries there.
Super gritty. But now I'm like, do I even bring this up anymore when we know like the testing is
like, dude, testing? Yeah, it's like, okay, it felt like I don't even care anymore. Like,
no, exactly. I'm like,
I just want next year to happen.
Well, it used to be like big news, and now that I'm like, I know there's like testing flaws. I'm like, was I reporting paddles that actually passed and were just tested wrong? I feel bad about it. That actually sparks another topic I didn't put on there though. Did you see the president of UPAA just announced a new brand that he's launched today?
No.
I'm like,
what is it?
Wait, a clothing company. But I'm like, how much bandwidth does this guy have? Like, you guys should be focusing on this UPAA thing. You're launching new brands.
We hopped on a phone call. Must have been 2 or so months ago. He was telling me about his new clothes. His clothes. How it's like a sweat thing.
Yeah, it's got some new. Somebody said they're $85 for a pair of shorts. I'm just like, that's a little high.
Some way to like, I don't know, something about wiping your hands on the shorts and being less sweaty. I don't know. I didn't know he announced it.
But yeah, he announced it today. But did we ever get any information from the meeting?
I know we I haven't pursued it super hard. I need to start bugging some people to try to get some information. That's your job this week.
I will probe some people.
Yeah, go probe.
So I got some numbers on what PPA is charging paddle sponsors and what they charge to be sold in the Pickleball Central tent. Did you know how much they charge? Did you see this? I
remember when we talked with Rose Jones of Babble a few months ago, and she said,
"Oh, it's way more than when she did it.
That it was really expensive when she did it."
Yeah.
Are you going to tell us these numbers?
$45,000
just to be sold in the. Is that for one event?
Yeah. Well, I didn't clarify that.
That's got to be more.
I hope if that's all the events, that's actually. I mean, that's still expensive, but that's not that bad. I should have clarified that.
They have to have some sort of reasoning to back that number up, or else brands.
Well, I mean, it's huge exposure. Yeah, no, you're right. So they have to have some metrics.
I wonder how valuable that $45,000 really is over like $45,000 for like a digital ad campaign goes so far. You can reach a lot of people, way more than you would reach at a PPA event.
Well, no, I mean, like
even multiple PPA events.
See, and I like the perspective I have too is like we went to a PPA event. Like, are that many people there looking to buy paddles? Like most people, I feel like have their paddles and they're there to watch pro pickleball. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I've tested a few while I've been there.
Yeah,
here and there, but I've never. Well, I guess I'm not your normal person.
No, exactly. So like our perspective is different. But even before I reviewed paddles, I wouldn't have done that.
If I'm like the product marketing manager and didn't have a budget, I mean, I don't know what PPA's feeding them as far as
you feel like
would it work, but I feel like 40, like you have to be some serious numbers.
Okay,
to be able to charge that
much. You ready for paddle sponsor though of PPA? 4-year commitment. They only taken 3 paddle sponsors. 1.7 million per paddle company. 3 sponsors. Yes.
Okay.
1.7 million
for 4 years. I mean, I it's tough to say. Okay, is that good or bad? I'd have to go like think about it, run some numbers.
They have to
see what like the exposure is there.
They have to have the numbers to prove. Because I don't think companies are just going to give that money away without like concrete evidence that they're going to have an ROI.
Yeah, and you probably don't pay it all up front. I imagine it's installments year by year. So like that then kind of breaks it down smaller. Maybe you pay yearly, then you get some of your money back, and then you can afford for the next few years. I don't know. Maybe it's a good deal. I don't know. Like PPA. I mean, they have. If you just look at stream numbers, like highlights. Like they get a lot of action on YouTube and stuff, so maybe it's worth it. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I just thought that was
it just seems like a huge number. It seems like
a huge number.
But, like when you're a big brand, like if you're a Selkirk, Yola, I mean, there's probably only a few brands that can really take on that money. But like to these guys, over 4 years, like I worked for a software company, like we were spending close to like $1 million a month on, ads. And like, that's just what we had.
Okay. It's just big money.
It's just big money. Like it's almost probably attractive to some brands because there's a lot of the avenues for advertising don't give you a ton. Like if you go sponsor my newsletter, you go sponsor all these little smaller things, like you have to go to like 50 to 100 different routes to spend your budget. Whereas this way, you kind of can take out a big bunch of your budget into one place that's going to get, so much exposure. And, maybe it's worth it for a lot of brands because like that, it sounds big, but it might not be that big compared to some people's budgets. I don't know.
It blew my mind. It was the same when I heard the number for the ball, but yeah, we'll see. All right. Last thing for Kyle's Corner. Let's talk about the pros. Hayden and Fed.
Taking down the Johns?
Yeah. You think the Johns are on the way down? I mean, I feel like we just talked about this before I left for Japan too.
Yeah. I mean, they were, but they're on the way back.
Yeah.
Like they won the last tournament and then they were in the finals again for this tournament. They're beating Alshon again. He was giving them issues. And then,
how'd you like that game plan? Like Alshon, they're playing some wild pickleball.
Yeah, they're going hard. But like to Fed's credit, I think Fed is getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he can hang, and I mean he seems to have it all. And then Hayden, Fed's doing it with different partners.
Yeah,
it's not. I feel like Fed is kind of the X factor here. I don't know. What do you think?
It's tough because Gabe's awesome. Hayden's. I think there's just a lot of really good players right now, and I feel like the gap is finally closing.
Well, it's closed.
Yeah,
on the men's side, it's done. It's closed.
The women's side is still,
Yeah, it's been so much more fun watching pro pickleball the last 4 or 5 tournaments.
Yeah, when you don't know that the Johns are going to win, it's been
really fun. Like the quarters and semis, it is really fun to watch. Yeah, there does kind of seem to be a formula attacking, the Johns brothers. There's a lot of dinking to Ben's backhand. He doesn't seem to attack much off the bounce. On his backhand side, it's a pretty safe place to go. People are picking on that, but now he's got some two-handed stuff he's working, and he's evolving. He evolves.
Yeah.
He's not going to be at the bottom for long.
No.
He's already starting to figure it out. They're bringing more heat. They're driving. They're attacking. And
they've always been very adaptable, and I think that's why they've been on the top.
They're going to obviously stay there, but now they're not going to win every time. But yeah, then on the women's side, Rohrbacher and Anna Bright won.
They did win
the previous tournament, and then they come in. If you're gonna watch any match from this last PPA Virginia, go watch the finals, the women's finals, because Catherine Parento playing with the new 007 project.
Yeah, looks cool. Did you get one?
I got one on the way.
Nice.
And then Annalie Waters, they were on a mission, and they it was weird. They were just going hard, and it was just working, just firing from impossible just places you don't shoot from.
Yep.
And it was working. It was crazy. That was a fun one. All right.
That's it for me, though. I'll have a lot more the next episode now that I can watch some pickleball again.
Yeah. If you're not a pro pickleball fan, now's a good time to start getting into it because it's really fun right now. Paddle, Babble, and gear. All right. First question. Are power paddles? Are power paddles my thing now? We did I remember this must have been 5 months ago. So we did this episode where I did an experiment of power versus control paddles at the tournament. I played so much better with the control paddle. And now I feel like I'm playing so well with power paddles lately. So I was playing with the ripples because I'm working on the review for that.
Yep.
And I was playing really well with that. I went and did a tournament with Abe, played some of the best pickleball I played in a long time against really good teams. And then the Paddletek ESQ and new ALW-C come out. Similar vein as the ripples, were super lightweight, very poppy. And I'm playing really well with those right now. I'm actually I'm really digging the ESQs. It's just it's in that shape I like. The wide body or the standard shape with the longer handle, has the pop, very lightweight, just an offensive weapon at the net. You can get your paddle in position. You don't have to put much on it. You get the pop. You're definitely more of a threat at the net than compared to a lot of other paddles. The only one that really compares to it is the Ripple R2 that way. Definitely adds offense to the net. And I've been playing really good with it.
So are you playing good with it because your game has changed a little bit though too? Because I've heard you've become a lot more aggressive than you used to be.
Maybe. It could be a combination.
Okay.
Let's dissect it a little bit. Okay. So I do this lesson with DJ Young. Yep. I start to shift. I'm finding this balance of being more offensive in the net. And at the same time, I was picking up those power paddles.
Yeah.
Those were definitely in tandem. But I also think I'm using the paddle differently, meaning when I was when the Gen 3s first came out, when the TKO-Cs came out, I think I was using the power in the wrong places. Like, oh, it's a power paddle. If I need to drive more, I need to attack more, I need to do more.
You're doing more from
things.
the baseline versus
yeah, just kind of more everywhere, but in the wrong way.
Got it.
Whereas now I feel like I've adjusted where I'm being a little more aggressive, but I'm not changing my game to fit the paddle. I'm still playing my game and then using the power and offense of the paddle to kind of enhance what I'm already doing rather than trying to
change your game
different
with
the paddle. Yeah. And I think that's an element of it. So maybe I'm just learning to use power paddles a little bit better, but I also just like the lighter nature, poppy nature of these kind of recent power paddles that have come out. But I've been playing really well, and no doubt at the net, I'm just looking to punish people for their mistakes more. Mm-hmm. Like if you make a mistake, if you leave a ball a little bit up, I want to be there. I want to be on top of it, and I want you questioning every shot you hit. Like,
well, you've got the length.
Yeah,
you've always had.
I've always had the length, and now I'm just using it better. And so I feel like my goal is to make people pay for mistakes. If you leave a third a little bit higher, I'm leaning in, I'm reaching, I'm going for it. If you leave a drop going cross court to my partner, I'm swiping it. If you like, I'm just punishing people more for their mistakes, whether it's a small or big.
Okay.
Doesn't always work out, but it's been working out more than it's not. Right. And then the lightweight nature of these paddles, like it's just things just like a fly swatter, dude. Like,
we gonna play Friday? We gotta get back in. We gotta get back in a groove.
Anyways, it's been fun, but they are very like these are very popular, and I do still think it's more of like an intermediate, kind of power, intermediate or advanced. It's like it's geared towards that. Like you shouldn't go for these if you don't have somewhat of a developed soft game. Like I still think there's disadvantages of that, and we still see power paddles all over the place when it may not necessarily be the right choice.
Yeah.
But I've been playing really well with them, and I kind of I feel like I'm a power paddle guy now. I'm switching. I'm changing.
You're evolving.
And I don't know, man. It's working, and I'm gonna keep playing with it. All right. My argument for 14 millimeters versus 16 millimeter. That's such a I always mix that word millimeter.
Millimeter.
I say that wrong in videos all the time.
14 millimeter paddle.
Yes, 14 millimeter paddle. All right, here's my argument that I think 14 millimeters. Now in my head, like, am I saying it right? Or 14 paddles.
There you
go. Better suited or should be used more in higher level play. Like 16 is just like the predominant, like just it's almost like bias. Like, oh, just get a 16 because they're better. So I've always felt like I could control 14s a little bit better than 16, just in general. Like whether it's the flight path, whether it's just the feel, I've always been more consistent on drops with 14s. And part of it, I think, is because the flight path, my swing kind of naturally is a little bit flatter, and I like a little lower flat flight path. So that's part of it. But the second, like the more I just thought about it this week, I was like, what are other reasons I might prefer a 14 over a 16 when it comes to feel in some cases? And I think part of it is due to feedback. So when people say like a paddle has more or less feedback, I don't know what they like mean exactly for that, but I've kind of been trying to define that to me. Is like, what does a paddle with more feedback mean? At first I thought, more feedback means it feels harsher around the edges. Like it
lets you know it's a bad shot.
Lets you know it's a bad shot. Okay. But now I'm starting to think, okay, more feedback means with the 14 millimeter paddle, when I drive 100%, it feels a little bit different than driving 80%. When I like even in the sweet spot, when I hit a dink, it feels a little bit different than a drop. And like the feel is just subtly different with different swing motions, different, like how hard you're swinging, how fast the ball, like there's just a little more variation in the feel of the ball at impact across the spectrum of shots. Okay. Whereas with the 16 millimeter, everything feels just plush.
I was saying it's just more like a more damp feeling.
It's just a more damp feeling that's like a drive feels more similar to a dink than it does with the 14 millimeter. Yep. And when you have more of that feedback or that subtle difference in feel from each shot, I think that trains your inner workings of like, this is what this shot feels like.
Got it.
This is what a dink feels like. This is you can like the paddle kind of communicates to you a little more, and your body's able to change and adjust based off of the feel a little bit. It's like, okay, you're hitting it too long. Your body's like, oh, okay, it felt like this. This is part of why it went too long. And your body's able to kind of adjust and fine tune your feel for the paddle and for the ball better than you can with a 16. Agree or disagree?
No, I could agree with that. There's still certain, and there are 14. I used to be very anti-14. But no, I can see your argument for that. My question is there diminishing returns though with the thinness? Like, do you think a 12 is more feedback than the 14?
Yeah, you can't get too thin, right? I think 14 is enough.
Okay.
Where you can your body starts to recognize the difference.
I also think the paddles have changed. Like 14s are getting better.
Like more forgiving?
Yes.
You're saying?
I think.
Yeah,
because definitely. I know when I first tried a 14, I was like, and maybe I've just gotten better too, but first time I tried a 14, I don't remember what it was, but I hated it. I was like, this is terrible. I'm never going to play with 14. 16 for life. Got a tattoo. But no, but then the Hurricane came out and I was like, this 14 feels amazing.
And that one felt like a 16. That's why you liked it.
Yeah, that's true. But even Alshon, the 14.3, that feels fine. Like that felt good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the first ones where I was like, this actually feels a little better than the previous 14 I had tried. I can't remember what my first 14 was, but I hate it.
Yeah, I think the feel is improved as far as like it's not overly firm or overly like negative feel than like past 14s. Yeah. Like if you played a 14 from like 2 years ago, it's very stiff.
Yeah.
Now there's more of a balance between the kind of that stiff and plush. Like it's not as plush as a 16, but they're not as stiff as they like used to be.
Yeah.
Whether it's the foam around the perimeter, I don't know, something.
And I always felt like you had like a Lux that was like hitting with a pillow, and then a 16 was like soft, and then I felt like 14s were just like
super stark difference.
Yeah, just like solid. Like, I don't like that, but I feel like it's changed.
Anyways, that's you do give up the forgiveness, right? There is that element, and so there's some give and take there. But like if you're hitting the sweet spot every time, I think you can fine tune those small motor skills.
Yeah. When we're saying this is for advanced players,
right?
Advanced players should be hitting the sweet spot a majority of the time.
Most of the time. Although everyone can benefit a little bit from more forgiveness.
A little bit,
that never hurts. Anyways, that's my argument. Like I think people should look at 14s more for that reason. Like
we saying 4.0 plus, or are we saying 3.5 plus? You got to give a suggestion to the viewers.
At what point
do you feel like you should dive into 14s?
I think if you're over 4.0,
okay,
you're like 4.25, 4.5. You're starting to push more of that advanced play. I think you look at 14s more.
Got it.
Plus, I feel like I'm valuing pop more so than power, which is another reason I really like these Paddleteks.
Because you're getting aggressive at the kitchen.
I'm getting aggressive at the kitchen. Like the Paddleteks. Let's talk about them because I got them all here, and I wanted to talk about them anyways. So these Paddleteks they're very poppy, very light, right? But they're not super powerful from the back. Like they got some juice, but it's not over the top. And if I was given two options, I have two paddles. One has like high pop, high power. Another one has high pop, medium power. I think I take the medium power, medium power, high pop. I like that profile.
I do too.
Because I can find my drops a little easier. I can do those little drive drops, harder angles, a little bit easier, and I can swing bigger. Like I like
exactly.
I like swinging more aggressively when I'm hitting big shots, like serves or drives, or whatever. And this way it doesn't sell too long.
Yeah.
So I feel like I can be a little more aggressive with my movement.
I'm with you there.
And I like that.
Any paddle that lets me freely swing is one I like.
Yeah.
I don't like anything where I have to like slow my drive down because I'm going to peg the wall.
Yeah. So I like that. And then the pop is there. And the pop is where you finish points. That's where the counters are. That's where the hand battles are. That's where the speed, like that's when I want that little extra speed. Like me driving an extra 10 miles per hour. I don't know if that's going to be any extra points.
No, not at the higher level.
Not at the higher level. Yeah. And I can't just smack it anyways. Yeah. Like when I hit an effective drive, it's not because I'm overpowering them. It's because they're late to the net.
Exactly.
And I'm
dipping at the right. Yeah, exactly. Dipping at the right time.
That's like, or I'm unwinding a stack, stuff like that. Like that's when I'm finding success with the drive. It's not just me ripping. There are people that can just smack the crap out of it, and they do benefit with high power.
Our friends that are tennis players.
Yeah, and maybe in that scenario, you want that high power and high pop. But to me, I feel like the pop is more beneficial than power when it comes to finishing and winning points. But you have to be able to manage it. Like the resets are a little trickier. The dings, you have to have a soft game. And So these just have that kind of like medium power, high pop combo, both the 12 and the 14. The 14 is a little calmed down. I like the 12.7. This is the ESQ model. And plus these just feel a little bit better than the TKOs. Like the older kind of tech like this, just widening the face just kind of lessens the tension a little bit. It just feels just a little more plush, a little more intuitive. And so I prefer the feel of these over their elongated models, but you do get more. The elongated models have that like high power, high pop, where these are more like medium power, high pop. And anyways, they're really good. And I like the clever like weighting system they did with that.
I'm excited. Mine are on the way. Coop.
And I guess talking while we're on this,
you cut it open to show it off. Nice.
Yeah. It's kind of confusing or like there's been some talk around like, okay, Paddletek released the ESQ, but they updated the ALW-C, which is this one here, like at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like there's a lot of overlap between the two paddles. And there is. And there's been a ton of reviews on the ESQ that have popped out. And the very common phrase you're hearing is ESQ is just a longer handled version of the ALW. And that's not exactly true. There are some like nuances to it. So yes, the handle is longer, but it's like noticeably wider. You see that?
Absolutely.
So the ESQ.
Yeah, see, I thought it was the same shape. Yeah,
No,
that's definitely wider.
The ESQ is definitely wider, and it's like a hair shorter, but I guess there's no edge guard on this, so it makes it look a little wider than it maybe is. But it is definitely a little bit wider and just a touch shorter. And so it's a super subtle difference. And when you play them like side by side, you can't tell a huge difference. I did prefer the ESQ just because I like the longer handle, but there is a little bit difference there. But yeah, I wanted to check out the weighting system inside these.
So they changed it though. So because you saw the CX, right?
The balls, yeah.
Yeah, it had because it was like basically like split shot from fishing. It looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wonder why they changed to that.
Well, they didn't exactly change. So if you pull this out, see if it comes with it. There is a ball in there.
Okay, so that's just putty holding the ball in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's still split shot.
Yeah. So this is the 12.7 model. The 12.7 has this weighted ball that weighs 2 grams plus the putty that weighs 1 gram. So they have 3 grams on each side. And then the 14.3 only has the 1 gram putty.
Okay.
So yeah, it does still use the ball, but like I made a video on Instagram about it, and I thought it was really clever to use targeted weight versus. I mean, I don't think they have the capability to do the foam injection. And so they're trying to come up with a different solution. But I wonder if this is a better solution, because having like the targeted weight in this spot is going to give you this desired impact or desired result of better stability versus like if I had 3 grams dispersed around the entire head.
Yeah, you
don't get the same stability benefits.
Exactly. No.
Because like maybe improve like vibration benefits, but
then you're getting a little head heavier and
And so I like this idea of targeted weight versus just the entire edge guard.
Well, no, and like honestly, what was really cool was like the Adidas paddle. Like the metal bone was a great idea. They just put the weight in the wrong spot. Stupid spot.
Yeah.
Like, did they not ask anybody? Because like honestly, if you could put the weight anywhere from like here, honestly, like to here,
some sort of
like you could do some cool stuff with it.
Right. Yeah, and I wonder if that'll become more a thing later if paddles find a way to do that.
I think we're going to see more weighted butt caps. I think we're going to see customizable weight, maybe even like replacement edge guards, kind of like the Icon did, where that has weight embedded in it.
Do that.
And they were the first. I think they were the first ones to do it. At least
I didn't know they had a weighted option.
So no, I'm saying they should. Like that would be smart.
Well, yeah, because they have like their little replaceable edge guard strips.
Yeah, and they even like even if they weighted
one on there,
or even if you weighted the little screw things that hold like the tacks that hold it.
Yeah, that'd be enough. That'd be enough.
Yeah, you can make a little 1 gram. Boom.
Yeah, a little 1 gram tack.
Yeah.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
Listening diadem. That's brilliant.
I'm calling Evan after the show.
Yeah, that's really clever. Yeah, stuff like that.
Patent pending.
But like this idea of targeted weight makes a lot of sense to me. And so even with these being like Gen 1 cold press, no foam injection, these still play pretty forgivingly considering like how thin they are. And I didn't feel like it had any issues. Like neither paddle has like a huge oversized sweet spot, but they're definitely above average and they feel good. I think part of it is just because they're super light.
Yeah.
And that plays a role in kind of that forgiveness and stability. 12.7, definitely want some weight with it. 14.3, you can get away with no weight.
Is the old one?
Is that the bubble butt cap?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to like compare to show people the difference of like the handle lengths of the old one. It's actually kind of weird what they did. So like the head is actually the exact same.
Yeah.
And they literally just extended the handle.
Yeah. You know, I was wondering too, like, is it because like Annalie's getting older and she just needs more handle now?
Yeah.
You got to think she's been playing with the same paddle since she was like 12.
Yeah. She was. So they, and like they had some room to play with because the head is like under the size of USAP like regulation. And so, yeah, they literally just made the handle longer and left the,
is that a half inch? Is that a half inch?
I don't know. Like if you
take off that nipple, I think that is like half inch.
Yeah. So like it's pretty significant. But it is kind of weird that like, okay, they do that at the exact same time they released
the ESQ.
Yeah. The faces are different on these.
Yeah.
Like see how that kind of has that like sheen to it?
Yeah.
This one doesn't.
Yeah, it's more like a matte.
I think they upgraded it because I got better spin numbers on these new ones. And I think the TKOs had that kind of sheen of the original.
They did.
But these ones don't. I just kind of now realize that. I don't know if you can see that sheen. Oh, it looks like that Engage kind of sheen, like they were using the same face, but now they're using something a little different. Anyways, I think these are really good. If anyone's interested, like they're doing the no code thing after a bit. So they're such a pain in the butt. So they're doing when they launch a new paddle, they're doing code for the first month and a half.
Okay.
So you can get 10% off with the code 10 Effect from either Pickleball Central or from Paddletek.
Okay.
To go get 10% off, but they raised the prices from $230 to $250.
I saw that. Well, did you see their,
or maybe it was $220
because of the demand or whatever?
So they raised their prices and they're going to take away codes. It's like, come on, man. I thought that was lame.
That's tough.
But yeah, they are pricey, but you know, for now they are unique with their like super lightweight nature.
They're made in America.
Made in America.
Actually made in America. So if that's important to you.
Those are the ones. Anyways, I'm going to do a full review. I'm publishing a written review for these soon. I'm going to do the video later. I only could do so many videos a month. So I have to kind of space those out a little bit.
Aaron's just like weighted down with videos to make.
Yeah. He's, we have it like budgeted 2 a month.
Okay.
And so that's what we do together.
Nice. Very nice.
There we go. That's those. And then we have a few more minutes.
Let me just, I brought you a paddle.
Just tell us what paddles you got in the mail while you were gone, kind of what you're looking forward to trying out.
Bum, bum, bum. All right. Everyday Social, Japanese brand.
There they are.
Bam. So.
Oh, let me hold one. I want to hold one of them.
Okay. Well, this one's for you.
Okay. Give me that one.
Yeah, that one's like, that one is yours. All right. So Kevlar 16 mil.
Dude, these bands are so dope.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so I'm just going to put that on every paddle.
Did I tell you? So what's funny, though, is he said that the Japanese people don't like the Japanese writing. They wanted English.
Why?
I don't know. So
we're the opposite.
So exactly. No, and he said that people in America want the Japanese bands. Yeah. So
he's got 2 brands?
Yep. So Kevlar 16 mil. What's cool is the design's actually pretty sweet. Like this gold metallic. And this is actually a tree. So there's like tons of trees in their town.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. Like I thought it was like, I didn't know what it was, but yeah. So that's a tree. And then on the bottom, there's another tree and it says Japan. And then the name.
And this is just like the thermo Kevlar paddle.
Yeah. It's just like, it plays good. I want to get the swing weight because I did feel like it was a little heavy. He has a titanium coming out that I actually really liked, but
don't say titanium.
Well, he's renaming.
People are gonna be mad.
Well, no, and that's what he's actually like going back to the drawing board because he doesn't want to call it titanium.
Dude, what a funny thing that like people are freaking out that it's called titanium.
No, and they're like saying that we're trying to like protect. Like, no, it's not titanium. Like you can be mad at them all you want to be, but I still think the paddle plays.
Yeah,
good.
like why?
I don't care what the material is.
Don't say titanium. Don't say lead, and don't say titanium on this podcast.
Tungsten only. When are we getting tungsten? We need a tungsten paddle.
Yeah, tungsten face.
This is their 18K. It has the cool little.
Oh, mine's not 18K. Mine's got the weave.
Yeah. So there's the carbon, the 18K. The Osama, which is like the mountain that's there. It's like everything is like really representing like where they are being, like where the brand is,
It's cool.
which I thought was kind of cool. I'm going to give this one away. And then I have another one.
Looks like it's used.
No, that's just from being in my bag. It needs to be erased.
Tell everyone about your giveaways you're going to start doing. These are cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to do 1,500 follower giveaway. It's already started. I've semi-announced it, but I'm still getting brands. So
how many followers you got right now?
Close to 1,600. I know.
You're doing a 1,500 giveaway,
because that's when I announced it. So it's fine. Because I wanted to do it differently, and I was in Japan, and I wanted to get the stuff together. So I've got Kitchen's going to give me a bag.
Okay.
Franklin's going to send me a paddle. I'm only letting people send me one paddle because they were like, "Oh, I'll send you all these paddles." I'm like, I don't need 5 paddles because I want to basically stack a bag just full of cool gear.
Oh, fill the kitchen bag.
Just fill the kitchen bag
clever.
with like cool paddles, gear, maybe like a coupon for shoes. Pickleball Central's getting involved. I'm not sure what they're sending me yet. But instead of doing the normal follow, like, blah, 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 they're going to donate $1 for an entry to a Venmo. And that's going to go to the AJU Foundation.
Thank you. So
for the first time. And then the next one at 2,000, I'll find another charity.
You're going to be at 2,000 before you do
I know. So, but I like giving stuff away, and people love giveaways. So, no, and I just think that's a better use of giveaways. Like, I feel like everybody does giveaways, but they're all the same. And I'm like, you can use giveaway. I feel like you could do some good. Like,
yeah, this is cool.
So, and I mean,
what are some of the other charities you're interested in?
Probably something along the lines of like the Wounded Warrior, some like a veteran charity. If you guys know any good charities that would be a cool pick, let me know. I don't want to send money to like a charity that just spends all the money on like some of those bad charities. I know there's some better charities than others out there. So that will be cool. I'm going to probably officially announce it this week and start taking entries. So I got to set up a Venmo and stuff because I don't want to get taxed on it or anything. Especially if it actually raises a lot of money. Then Venmo's like, hey, you got 10 grand. Like,
yeah, like if you raise even, $200-300 or whatever.
No, that's still, yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
No, it's still better than just giving stuff away for
super
free.
cool.
Yeah. So
plus this time of year, like it's good timing.
Yeah. It'll be good. It'll be good. I might buy entries and just not win. And then I finally got a shapeshifter because I'm super late to the game. Matt sent me an orange one.
Nice.
Orange is cool. Feels super gritty.
Oh.
What
is he doing over there?
What is he doing over there? Right? I was like, this thing feels.
He handpicked that one out for you.
Does that? Do you think that happens? That's. We could talk about that another time.
I don't know.
So, but yeah, that's it.
Well, good deal. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Kyle, happy to have you back, man.
Glad to be back. I'll have more juicy stuff for next week.
All right. So, okay. We'll see you all next week. Thanks.
Later.